Hey all, this is O1 Turbo Coup, and
This is the king of the jackasses, Jarek. Hello.
we're coming at you again with a different type of review, because if you guys have seen, I'm starting to do short reviews now, so I did a very quick and a silly southern British accent review of the episode, so I figured I'd go over a different take, and you'd get our different takes on this, and I figured we would basically do it like this. We'll basically break it down into what we liked about the episode and then go from the other parts from there, because we'll still keep favorite characters and the final thoughts on the show, because I like the tune. By the way, I don't mean to interrupt, Jared, but is Hawk okay?
Let me check on him real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, because I was going to say, usually we know how antsy he gets, and if you need to get him...
Yeah, he's over on his little puppy bed in the living room.
Oh, okay, he hasn't moved, alright. So then, didn't take too long, folks, probably won't edit that out, but yeah, I figured we'd talk about what we like, and I figured what we would do is, I'll start with you, Jerk. So, given episode 32, The Fuhrer's Son, since I did the short review on it, what did you like about the episode?
Well, of course I'm going to say I love Fuhrer Bradley, who's...
Okay, yes, absolutely.
I mean, seriously, he's the living embodiment of the Giga Chad meme, so, there's that. But his son really steals the show in this,
Oh, yeah.
especially in English, man. When he shows up at the library and he's just fawning over the Elrics, over the Elric brothers, it is just heartwarming. It's wonderful. It almost even makes you question, does the pride homunculus? Oh, and minor spoiler warnings here.
Yeah, yeah.
Does his son, the homunculus of pride, does he keep the human soul around just for the disguise? Is he impersonating him? Because we have seen Ling Yao's pretty much holding up his own against the greed homunculi spirit. We know Bradley himself kind of questions whether he or the sin of wrath is in charge.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of a funny thing to see. We've already seen him before. When the spider was talking to Bradley in that one episode, that was Pride. So it's kind of a funny thing to really ask to yourself. For all the homunculi superiority over humans that they think they have. They sure do love playing those human roles every now and again.
Well, again, artificially made humans. So again, that's the thing. Just like how I missed it the first time. Just like how Lust said that she actually did enjoy her time with Jean Havoc, which is okie doke. I mean, again, and I'll say this to be a bias. I like Lust a lot more in the original show because they played with her a bit more and got her to develop into a character you really feel for at some point. In this one, it's there's a little bit of that, but Lust is basically a psychotic.
Hey, we all want to play with Lust more.
Yeah, not to say that I'm basically forgiving what Lust did in the original show either. She did a lot of messed up things in an original show, but basically, also she does a messed up thing in one of the ones where she actually met somebody who she had a little bit of feelings for, and what she does at the end is super messed up. But, we'll get to that when we get to the original show, when we get to those scenes.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, I think that's all in season 2 of the original show.
But for me, the highlight of this was definitely where, they go to visit Bradley's house. And this is easily one of the best Bradley intimidation moments, because you really have to read into his words both in English and Japanese, but he's talking contrary to what some people might tell you, I do have a family, and I'm actually quite fond of them. And this is kind of a really cutting jab, because while he's saying this, you're seeing images of, the Elric's current extended family. He's saying, I'm sure it's a lot different than your family, which is almost like a triple entendre with him basically pointing out, you've already lost one family. Try and fuck with me, you could lose your current family.
Yep.
And it's just such a great scene, because again, you're questioning the whole time. It's does he know his son's a homunculus? It's even if he does, it's is this, are we seeing the human? Is this the homunculus? It's just such a great moment if you really stop and think about all the little moving parts, because it kind of looks like his wife has no fucking clue her husband's basically the biggest monster in existence, and so is her son. But honestly, about his wife, she actually was really funny in this, and I prefer the English dub on this because it's like, oh, he was such a klutz when we first met. I honestly yelled and slapped at him, and you just see Salim's eyes getting all big. It's like, what? It's like, oh, but it was so
well,
endearing.
same thing with Elworks too. They're like, ah!
And I just love how everybody's freaking out in this scene, and she remains calm and cool as a cucumber. And this honestly reminded part of a human, though. You can tell. I mean, his house is immaculate and clean. He plays the role of a father really good. You can tell he actually does kind of have a thing for Salim. And strangely enough, I being the asshole jackass that I am, I had to look up the name Salim because I'm like, that sounds Mediterranean. Sure enough, it's Middle Eastern. It means safe and protected. Which, considering he's the sin of pride, his daddy's the most dangerous asshole on earth, and he's basically got the whole goddamn military, it's like, yeah. Plus, I just find it kind of weird. It's like, your son's name sounds like it belongs to the people of the kingdom you basically massacred, so it's almost like a triple insult, It's like, I blew up your kingdom, I massacred your people, I spat in the face of your god, oh, and my son's going to have the name of one of your children, so, hey, fuck you very, very much.
Pretty much.
But it's just like the most Bradley thing, It's like most dangerous man in existence, but my wife gets to say whatever she wants.
And there you go. And let's see. Well, mine now. Jarek basically broke down that scene because that would have been my scene as well. I would like to say, as a little side note, I did love the whole fruiting ambition and grooming and Mustang talking with each other. And Grumman was approached by Raven to join the team to build an immortal army, but he refused. And I mean, that scene was fun, and they again better in English too, and it was really cool. But as much as I would like to say I loved that scene, which I did, I have to say, because it brought me back to the 80s action movies days, when Salt J. Kimberly is chasing Scar and Dr. Marco. Oh man, that reminded me of like the action 80 chase scenes, because like they're in the sewers, and then Scar's like, I noticed Scar didn't kill any of the soldiers this time, he just blocked their path, but they were escaping and running in the sewers, and then they get on, and then they're like on a bridge, and then a train comes by, and then they're blocked on both sides by the soldiers. Whoop, hop on the train now, disappear in train smoke, and now look, they were riding away.
Yeah, they let the main engine car go past, and they get covered in the smoke, and they use that as like a smoke screen to basically jump the rails and get on the back of the train.
Oh yeah.
But what I love about like the scene you mentioned before that, where they're in the sewers, like, before, you would just see Scar kind of use his power like blindly and destructively. Now he's clearly guiding it. He's far more focused in what he does. Like, for instance, when he disguised Dr. Marco, he only like destroyed the top layer of skin so that his face would be unrecognizable. In this scene, he basically guides the path of the destruction, like up the floor, up the side of the wall, into the ceiling, and then cutting a very certain pattern to like make these huge pillars to come down. It's actually kind of cool to see that now he realizes, this can't just be my blind, angry revenge against these people. There's a much bigger thing at play here.
Yep, and I think he's obviously realized that with Father now being in existence, but that's what we like about it, the certain growth of the character. That's sort of what I like about it, too.
It kind of, like, takes me back to the Soul Society rescue arc in Bleach when, Ichigo's kind of a dumbass all the time. He only really knows how to do one particular technique throughout almost the entire series. Unless shit gets real, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, fuck doing things the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna have to step it up.
Yeah.
Like, especially when he needed to find that one Zanpakuto to get his Bankai. It's like, you know what? Enough putzing around. This is the one. It's like, oh, look at that. You can think.
And his evil side under control too. But yeah,
but
we'll also get to Bleach too. Yeah. Don't worry.
And it's also a great scene because as they're escaping, Kimberly, and this really shows how much of a goddamn sociopath this man is. He's noticing, he's like following the train tracks on this map, and he's noticing, hey, there's like a rough patch through some mountains here. Trains would have to slow down during this part of the transition, and he's kind of looking at the map. It's like north or south, where would they go? And you can see the wheels in his head spinning because he chooses the right one, north. And as I told Boku, he probably realized they would head north because A, there's a huge forest that could help slow down and the guys trying to find them. And then once they get there, it's a big winter wonderland. Most of the soldiers probably aren't going to be well trained for that kind of climate. It would definitely be something only a guy like Scar would be crazy enough to power through. So it's actually, you get to see just how much of a intelligent but absolute sociopath Kimberly is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, if you want to hunt down a killer, hire a killer. And there's other really great scenes, like, again, going back to Grumman and Mustang. We find out that the little note, the chess piece, was for Grumman. It was that was the chess piece he and Grumman were playing when he got transferred to Central. So, it's interesting that this was Grumman's ace in the hole last ditch thing if he ever needed help. And of course it was for Grumman. And how else does he relay the message? Through a bunch of ladies of the night, little entertainers, which is such a Grumman thing to do. And like earlier, you see this kind of Mulvaney looking young lady in the railway station who bumps into what's her name again?
Mei Chang.
Mei Chang, and I guess she realizes, this is a foreign girl, and she notices, that's a strange looking little kitty now, isn't it? But again, it's just so funny that Grumman pulls this off because he's got this reputation for being eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of their meeting place being Hugh Maze's plot at the cemetery, it's really just such a great scene that really encapsulates everything about Roy Mustang and Grumman. And again, it was an interesting thing. He gets offered every commanding officer's wettest dream, a nigh unkillable army of super soldiers who are practically immortal. Turns it down. That's not what war's about. And it's kind of funny that you hear this from him at a place where you see what war is really about. The loss, the legacies that get left behind and the people who are there to mourn them. This is honestly what really encapsulates why just the divide between the homunculi and the people opposing them. The homunculi, they don't give a shit. It's like the ends justify the means. But for like Roy Mustang and his people, you have to carry the weight of everything you've done. Those soldiers were ready and prepared to put their lives on the line. So were yours. This is the ultimate consequence. If you do not honor that, then you are not, truly upholding the true virtues of a soldier. They're willing to risk it all, and so are you. And you owe them that much respect. And it really does just delineate the difference between these non-human soldiers and these human ones. It's a perfect scene. And also, I love how Roy Mustang doesn't really catch on until he until he gives him that one line. It's like, well, I see the rumors about your eccentricity were true. A. Grumman. It's just such a great scene, and
One is actually scared of the fact that he's in drag and being a woman when he thought he was an actual woman. Oh, you shy boy, you.
and I love how he basically asks, he begs Grumman for help, and Grumman's like, I thought I had lost the fires of ambition long, long ago, but you, clever boy, managed to rekindle those. And it's such a great scene because, again, it kind of goes back to the fact that you never really leave the soldier life behind. It's always with you. It never really goes away. And again, it also kind of encapsulates the idea that war is not necessarily always a 100% terrible thing. It's bad, yes.
Yes.
We would prefer to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, a lot of human innovation and evolution is born out of conflict, and nothing encapsulates that like war. Seriously, penicillin, microwave ovens, modern day aircrafts and boat technology. Frankly, the invention of the jet engine, the refinements of video and audio technology. People have no idea the innovations we take for granted, born of war. Like, seriously, modern psychotropic medications, Ritalin, Depakote, lorazepam, you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for, ironically, World War II. So, heck, we wouldn't have gotten Buzz Aldrin to the moon without the war effort. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird scene where you realize that, as much as we hate the idea, there is a reason why it exists. We just really hope we don't have to do it.
Indeed, and that pretty much encapsulates everything there. And for basically favorite characters, I know who mine is right away. I will give shout outs to Vic Mignogna and I believe Romy Paku for Edward Elric again. Great performances there. And of course, King Bradley or Fear Bradley, Ed Blaylock, and Hidekatsu Shibata. Another great performance from those two as well. Just well done. But I have to give it to Celine Bradley, Brittany Karbowski, and Yuko Sami for their good performance. Yuko Sami was good too. She had a great childlike performance. But Brittany Karbowski, I have to give the edge to her. She really brought out the fanboy and this excited kid and everything.
It was
that
so
was just
adorable.
So cool. And also the love of the father was really well there. So that's who I really liked. And, Brittany Karbowski really brought it. And just like Jarek mentioned, when she plays the part of Celine Bradley's Pride, a very vicious, vindictive person in that. But we'll probably get more to that when that is revealed. I think it's probably going to be revealed very soon. I think from after these episodes, it's revealed pretty soon after this. But that's because, as you know, everything's starting to ramp up and the pieces for the final conflict are falling into place because, as you know, they've had these temporary setbacks. Now they're trying to turn the setbacks into their favor. But yeah, that's why I have to give it to Brittany Karbowski for Celine Bradley overall. Yuko Sami. But not saying Yuko Sami was bad. I just prefer Brittany Karbowski because it was a way better performance. Jarek, how about you?
Oh yeah, you got to give it to who's the English voice actress?
Brittany Karbowski.
She really brought out the kid in Salim. It was so perfect, just the. I mean, honestly, even the way she was like complimenting Elric, but it was pissing him off. It's like, yeah, you lose your temper really easily when people call you short, just like they say.
Yeah. You say short again, and you step away from the Fuhrer, or the Fuhrer's son.
But then when he gets home and it's like he's just loving his dad, he's freaked out by his mom saying those things. Honestly, that was one of the greatest moments I've seen in the show. Like, good lord, that was Hugh Bay's levels of good.
Oh, yeah.
And if I had to pick, like, a second, it would easily be Grumman, because, dear God, he had too much fun.
Bill Flynn and Rakuro Naya.
Man, I don't know what they paid him for that role, but they did not pay him enough. That was magic.
Well, who, Rakuro Naya or Bill Flynn or both?
Both, but Bill Flynn especially, he really went all in on that Grumman performance.
Yeah, he did. Well, especially like you said, when he especially mentions the ambition part, you really see Bill Flynn being, and like especially when he says, I'm too old for war, but something about this, something about what you want to do, Mustang, it brings out the soldier in me again, wanting to fight this fight. And you see it in the eyes. The eyes are like furied, and they're like he's really 100% in with Mustang on this. So yeah, Bill Flynn, I have to give Jarek credit for that.
I almost want to see a battle of perverts between him and Master Roshi.
I have a feeling Master Roshi will outdo Grumman. I think he will. Grumman seems a little more subdued.
Yeah, that is true. But, I mean, again, just so many great performances. And
oh, yeah, everybody was good in this episode. Everybody did.
And honestly, Mrs. Bradley was great, too.
I know. I wish we could find out who she did. She was a part of the supporting cast. I didn't have her in the main cast, but I wish we could see who that is. I guess I could always look it up and see who did her, but yeah, they didn't have her in the main cast, so I don't have her written down, and but yeah, everybody was really good. And on a side note again, Salt J. Kimbley, Eric Vale, Hiroyuki Yoshino, great performance there. And again, Hiroyuki Yoshino is good too, but Eric Vale is good as well. And I know people who sort of get on the thing of voice actors, because like I heard from my friend down in Florida, he's as big of an anime geek as I am, he's saying, yeah, legacy characters have sort of been digging their own graves. And I'm like, in a way, yeah, they have, and maybe they're a little more pompous and arrogant, but I have to give Eric Vale credit, even though it sounds exactly like Trunks. It's basically a vicious version of Trunks that goes very well with the character. That's just like, damn, you don't want to mess with this guy, because this guy is borderline psychotic.
Well, thanks to you, I can't play Dragon Ball Xenoverse the same anymore, because now whenever I'm getting my missions from Trunks,
you're always hearing Salt J. Kimbley.
hey, where's the white suit and the hat? Are you going to try and kill me? Are you going to blow us up?
Well, remember, they can time travel, so you can always run into him. But, okay then, guys. And you know what? I don't mind doing this way, because I've realized we're under 40 minutes for once, so hey. But for overall, it was a great episode. It's setting up, we didn't mention it, but I'll mention it here really quickly. It's setting up Alex Louise's Armstrong's sister.
Oh, yeah.
Which I will say I enjoyed, and I get it, she's the tougher version of Alex Louise Armstrong, but I have to say that, again, I like her, but she didn't fully meld with me, because I loved how the family was all flamboyant, and here you have this just really strong, but overly, because I will say it, she is a bitch of a sister, just sort of take over. I mean, Alex Louis Armstrong still focuses into it, but yeah, he really just is beaten up by his older sister a lot, so they introduce her, they're going north to see her, and it sets up a lot of stuff. You have, again, this awesome 80s sort of chase scene with Kimbley and Scar and all these parts just coming together, bringing in more and more. And there's a secret to the base that they're headed to that's part of the alchemic circle that Father has been setting up. So, I mean, overall, I like how it sets it up and how it focused on the Fuhrer's family, too. That was a nice touch. Jarek, anything more you want to add?
Let's just say that scene in the library with Alexander Armstrong was just so... I mean, Louise Armstrong was so perfect,
I found you, Alric.
Yeah, he fucking zangiefs those bookshelves apart, and I just love how he's like, shh, listen, I know you're going to the
library.
I know you're going to the north, so take this letter of introduction. And I love how it's got like the moustache on it.
And the little hair curl.
Just such a Louise Armstrong thing to do.
I can't wait till we get the original, because yes, it was a side comic in the manga, but they actually focus on Jean Havoc trying to get a date, and she sees the younger sister of Alex Louise Armstrong, who is actually like a real like bang out cute girl, and then it's like Jean Havoc, you're very nice and cute and beautiful, but I'm not as strong. I like my brother. And then Alex Louis Armstrong is just and he's like holding up, sorry, Lieutenant Havoc, those are the rules.
And speaking of Armstrong, man, if you want to see one of my favorite AMVs on YouTube, check out I'm Armstrong and I Know It. Yeah. I love that video.
Plus, as well to mention, and not to get off on a side tangent here, but it's in the manga, but they don't show it. They didn't show it in the OVA, the original animation of Brotherhood, but it's in the original. Sig and Alex Louis Armstrong pose them with themselves too.
Oh yeah, Curtis's husband, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Curtis's husband. Sig,
I saw. I love that the pose off.
And then you have both Azumi Curtis and Bradley going, yeah, what the hell is this right now?
Oh, I love that, man. That is one of my favorite scenes.
So yeah, we'll get to that when we get the original, because I think I mentioned it before. We have one more episode of this to go in Brotherhood, and once we're done with that, we will start part 1 of the original, because why not? I said we'll do a proper compare and contrast that way, and probably a good thing to just sort of break it up, because I know we started a long time ago, but we weren't going as fast with some of this stuff as we are now, because I know I was taking a little bit more time, and I was trying to figure out how we want to do this. Now that I have a flow, we're starting to get through things faster, and it's like, yeah, let's take a break, let's go to the original, and I know you guys are probably getting sick of Full Metal Alchemist, but like I said, with anime, we were going to do episode-by-episode reviews, because I sort of see why nobody does it, because it takes forever to get through, but I think there needs to be more of that, which is why I don't mind doing, as I've started now, the short reviews, or these reviews with Jarek the Jackass, or anything like these, because I think there needs to be more episode-by-episode reviews. I don't mind doing a whole thing in one go, but I think, when you break it down like this, it gets more to talk about with the journey. But hey, that's me. I'm old-fashioned.
Just be thankful we're not reviewing One Piece.
Oh, God, that would... If we ever do, we're definitely breaking that up into parts. We're not doing one straight thing like with Full Metal Alchemist here, because, oh my God, we'll be skeletons sitting here trying to talk to you, and it'll be like, oh, there went my head, get the glue.
To think that Pokemon ended faster than One Piece.
See, Pokemon we could do. We probably have to break that up too, since there's a lot of parts to that too, but that we could probably do too, because at least it has an ending. Not to say it, but I want to bring this up for people. Apparently, since we're talking anime here and shop a little bit, apparently I just saw something on my newsfeed where they said Luffy died.
No, really?
They said fans were shocked because there was an episode that focuses on Luffy's death. They said that in the newsfeed, and I'm like, no way.
I've been hearing...
Luffy can't be dead. No fucking... Because then the show's over. It was focused on him.
Well, I heard something about, his Devil Fruit Awakening being, cursed or something. I remember seeing that, basically he had to, awaken the full power of, the gum, whatever it's called. He had to awaken that to reach full power to basically defeat somebody, and it was cursed. It would basically cause his death.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? I'm wondering if this is also a Deus Ex Machina moment, because if he did die, is he going to come back? Because without Luffy, he was the main person who wanted to find it, for Shanks, for Ace, for everybody he had met who really wanted it. And if he's dead, your driving force to the show is dead. How do you continue it?
I'm not so certain he's going to be, dead, because...
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if the Deus Ex Machina is going to come out here and, he's half Luffy, or it's the spirit of Luffy, or some shit like that. If it's true, this could just be...
Well, that's the thing.
Bluster.
If you get far enough into the manga, you find out that he's kind of the reincarnation of Joy Boy. The original fucking revolutionary. He's basically the reincarnation... the dragon line is basically descended from Joy Boy. And he's the literal reincarnation of Joy Boy.
Now I hate to say it, that's cool and all, but it's given where the shows go, I'm not surprised if that's where it's going.
Well, did you see...
God damn, it's a pirate version of Goku!
Basically, yes, because,
That's why the spin-offs make sense.
I did hear that there's, that one of his final forms is probably going to be Son Goku, so...
Yeah, well, hey guys, I didn't mean to make it go down this road, but I figured since we were talking anime shop, I'd mention it. But yeah, what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think about this episode. And, of course, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, since we're down to one episode left, and I can't wait to start the original with you. I'm looking forward to that. Plus, since we did the Twin Peaks pilot, we'll be on, before we do the last episode of this, we'll be on our next movie for the next time. So until then, we'll see you guys then. This is 012 Boku and...
Jarek the Jackass.
See you guys later. Deuces.
Deuces.